nice to meet you.
What's your name?
I'm Chandni.
It's so nice to meet you too. How are you doing today?
I'm alright.
You alright? How was the drive here?
It was alright.
Did anyone bring you or did you come by yourself?
My driver brought me.
Oh, that's awesome. So I just want to let you know what the objective of today is. So we're going to ask some questions, go over your background, try to figure out how you want to go from here on out. And then also, I wanted to ask if you had any questions about the forms that you signed earlier.
Nope.
Okay, so I just wanted to reiterate, I want to remind you that I will keep everything between us unless you are presenting harm to yourself or if there's going to be harm to someone else. But other than that, everything else stays right here between us so you can feel as comfortable as you want to. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. What makes you you?
Well, I moved around a lot as a kid, and my last place where I moved was California, so now I still live there now. And I enjoyed my childhood, and I didn't find any problem moving around. So in California, I was like in high school when I moved there, and I had a lot of fun. I was on the cheerleading team. I had a lot of friends. I enjoyed classes, so it was a pretty good experience, my childhood, and both of my parents were together, so.
Okay, that sounds amazing. What made you want to stay in California though?
I worked at a surf shop, and then after a couple years, I got in contact with like a modeling agency, and then I've been working as one since.
So for your surf shop, how long did you work there?
Just a couple months, and then after that, I got in touch with an agency, and I've been working on like a show as an assistant sometimes, and The Price is Right, I would work there as a host. So yeah, I've been doing stuff like that, working on television for a long time.
Okay, so back to the surfing thing. So you went from surf to a modeling agency. What made you want to switch?
I just thought it was a good opportunity for me to kind of expand and just see where it could go.
That sounds awesome. Was that always a dream of yours as a kid?
Not really, but since I kind of was a cheerleader and I kind of like did enjoy like the creative aspect of dance and stuff, I thought it would be a good way to go.
Were your parents helping you through this, or by this time were you mostly on your own?
My parents were always supportive, but I mostly did this on my own because they weren't sure how it was going to turn out. So they were supportive, but they were kind of like apprehensive at the same time about me working.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's amazing that you were able to do that on your own, and you had enough, like almost pride, and like you valued yourself enough to keep going. That's wonderful. So what brings you in today, though? What would you like to discuss?
I don't know. I have 2 kids. So I have like a daughter that's 3, and I have a son that's 1. And kind of after having them, I kind of wasn't feeling myself. So after my first child, that's when it started to like, I haven't been able to like sleep properly. I'm usually like kind of very like worried about just stuff I used to not worry about. I kind of just like, I just don't feel like myself.
Okay, so with the not feeling like yourself part, that started right after your first child. Did it get better with the second child?
It didn't really go away, but I feel like I went to a doctor between then, and he diagnosed me with postpartum and also kind of anxiety, but I still feel like I have a lot of those symptoms still, and I feel like I haven't really been able to like feel like myself even after my last child that I had a year ago.
Oh, yeah. Kids, they take a lot out of you. I know it's supposed to be this great time, but of course those feelings are justified, and that happens a lot. And you're justified in feeling that. What are the things that made you feel like this before you had kids? Anything, or did it just start once you had kids?
I was usually a pretty happy person, pretty carefree, so I kind of felt like this happened after I had kids, which kind of made me like really upset because everyone talks about how it's supposed to be like a really beautiful thing and a really happy thing, but like I would compare myself to a lot of my friends in the group who like didn't go through this and didn't feel the same way, and it kind of just made me feel even more like anxious and a little bit more like, I couldn't sleep at night and a little bit more upset and agitated.
Did it almost make you feel different? Just kind of like you weren't doing what you needed to? Did you not feel as though you were meeting your goals for yourself?
Yeah, I kind of wasn't expecting this. Like I was expecting to kind of have a pretty good, pregnancy and pretty good birth, and I wasn't expecting changes in my mood Actually, before having my first child, we had to do an IV because I couldn't actually get pregnant without doing in vitro fertilization. So that was kind of rough. My husband was very supportive, but like it kind of like it made me feel less of a woman. So that was kind of rough, but I never felt like depressed about it, or I never felt like anxious about it. It was only after having the child that I felt like a little bit more.
Okay. You said that your husband was good about it.
Mhm.
Was he supporting you through this? Is he still helping out now? Or
Yeah, my husband was all supportive over it, and even after having my first child and having these symptoms, I think he was a little bit more understanding than maybe other people about it, and kind of like understanding that I'm not making it up, and it's not like, something that is fake. Mm-hmm.
when you say other people, is there anyone in particular that
Well,
worries you or makes you feel more anxious than what you
kind
already
of
do?
like social media. Like before, I used to like when I used to talk about it, people used to like, oh, how can she feel this way? Like she has a perfect life, she has so much money and like other stuff like this, and like it kind of like they kind of like devalued my feelings just because like on the outside it seemed like my life was perfect, but like I kind of lost interest in a lot of my stuff that I was interested in before.
So instead of holding in, you actually decided to go out and talk about this in public and on your social media. Do you have a big following?
I do. I have a very large following, especially on Twitter and Instagram. But kind of like after my pregnancy, I didn't really want to post a lot because I was kind of like anxious about how people would view my body after pregnancy, and kind of like the negative comments from people. Because even before I was a model, I would still get negative comments about my appearance and people like devaluing me as a model. So
I think that's amazing though that you still talked about your feelings and what you were going through.
yeah.
That shows a lot of strength and character.
Mhm.
So other than your husband who supports you, is there anyone else that are helping you with the kids or just helping you with your social media career? Or
Actually, my mom lives with me, so she often like watches the kids for me because, right now I'm working on a cookbook, and that's kind of been my passion. So I've kind of been like straying away from modeling, more like into like my other passions, which has like kind of helped me a little bit. But there's still times at night where I can't sleep, and there's times where I'm like just in a terrible mood, and like I just kind of want it to be like how it was before, where I was more consistent in my mood and behaviors. Like 1 minute I'll be super happy, and then the next minute I'll like just start crying for no reason, and then I just can't understand why I'm feeling this way.
of course, that's definitely confusing. With your relationship with your mom, so you would say it's a good one. She helps out with the kids. Does she understand where you're coming from on this? Does she have any history of it herself?
Not that I'm aware of. My mom is very supportive, but I kind of do feel bad because she does live with me, and my father does live a little bit away, but he does often come to visit. But I just wish that I did have to put her in that position, but like she's always over anyway, so I don't feel too bad about it.
How's your relationship with your father?
Pretty good, I would
Okay.
say so.
So you say you have a great relationship with your mom and also one with your father, but when they're together, it's more of a struggle for you?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
Mm.
So they get along just fine then?
Yeah, they get along just fine. My mom's just living with me to help me out with my young kids, since I do still work a lot and do a lot of interviews, and like especially promoting my cookbook and my cooking wear. So I don't like to leave the kids like alone.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense. That's amazing you have such a great support system.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other, for the postpartum that you said you've been diagnosed with, does anyone else in your family had, for either your grandparents or even on your dad's side, has anyone else had this?
No, I think
Or any other mental issues?
no, but I have previously in the past been drinking a lot more than I should, and that's always been an issue in my life. So for me, like when after going to the doctors, I was given pills for my anxiety, and I had to stop drinking, but that was really hard for me because the anxiety medication and the alcohol can't go together. So I recently went on a trip to Thailand to kind of cleanse myself. I went to like a cleansing facility where you kind of denounce alcohol and kind of like detox it out of your system. But that journey has been really difficult because there was times like where I would drink a lot before award shows, then I would go to award shows and drink, and then after the party I would drink. So kind of like just having not really being able to drink as much anymore is kind of like been a struggle for me, and reduce it to kind of like, help with my anxiety.
Before you got into pretty much the height of your career,
Mhm.
did you also have those as a child, or were you around anything that was, because it seems as though you kind of turn to substances when you're feeling down or excited, like that's almost like what you do when you're feeling, high or lower sense of emotional states. Did you do that like as a preteen or teenager, or did you see your parents do that or your friends?
Well, my parents, like most people, just had a drink or two every, now and then. But I feel like especially just it was more available to me just with like my status and like, being invited to all these parties and events. So I feel like I definitely had more access to like alcohol and a more need to drink alcohol just to like loosen up before meeting other people and just, be able to attend these really long events when I was kind of tired or bored. So I really didn't drink a lot before, but like around age 21, I kind of started drinking a lot more when I was into my modeling career.
Okay, so your modeling career kind of sparked this.
Mhm.
You said there was the anxiety pills, you said there was the drinking. Was there any other more substances that I should know of that we can, help with your prognosis and treatment?
No, not really.
Okay, so far it's just that. And then for your trip to Thailand, was that really relaxing for you? Or you said the journey was hard, but other than the denouncing of all of the